So today we're going to do difference of two squares. So whenever you get a question in the form of a squared minus b squared, you can write that as a plus b, a minus b. So whenever you get a question where it's one squared number, take away another squared number, then that can be written in this form. And now let's start with the first question. X squared minus 100. So let's try to factorize this. Because the x has this 2 here, we know this x is a squared number. Also with 100, we also know 100 is a squared number. X squared can also be written as x times x, and 100 can also be written as 10 times 10. Now we should write it as a double brackets. So because we have two different squared numbers here, and they're taking away from each other, we know we can do difference of two squares. So let's write the final answer now, which is x plus 10, x minus 10. Now on to the next question. Question number 2, 16 minus x squared. So let's try to factorize this. So the first thing we have to check is, are they both squared numbers? So let's start off with the x here. Because the x has this 2 on top, we know this has to be a squared number. You can make that by doing x times x. How do we get 16? 16 is 4 times 4. So they're both squared numbers, and there's a minus sign in the middle. So we know we can do difference of two squares. That would make the final answer 4 minus x, 4 plus x, and 4 minus x. And now moving on to question number 3. 9x squared minus 4y squared. So this question has become a lot more difficult, but we just want to look at each part of it individually. Let's start off with the left side. So we're going to break up the left side in with 9 and x squared. So how do we make 9? So we know 9 is a squared number, and it's made by 3 times 3. And x squared, we should know by now, it is x times x. 4 is made by 2 times 2, and y squared is made by y times y. Okay, as we can see, everything's written out twice. So we've got 2 lots of 3, 2 lots of x's, 2 lots of 2 times 2, so 2 lots of 2, and then 2 lots of y. So we don't want to write the double repeat. We just want to write each one of these things out individually. So I'm going to write 3x here, and I'm going to write 2y here. Because we know both these are squared numbers and they're subtracting from each other, we know, and there's a minus sign in the middle, we know we can do difference of two squares. That would make the final answer 3x plus 2y, 3x minus 2y, and that is the final answer. And now question number 4, 5c squared minus 20. As you can tell, both of these numbers are not squared numbers. So does that mean we can't do difference of two squares? No, we can. What we have to first do is simplify it. So let's take a factor of 5 out. Put 5 outside the brackets, and now we can write c squared minus 4. And now we just do it like how we normally do it. C squared can also be written as c times c, and 4 can be written as 2 times 2, because it's 2 squared. Perfect. And now we know c squared is obviously a squared number because it has this 2 attached to it, and 4 we know is a squared number because it is 2 squared. So now we can write out the double brackets, which would be c plus 2 c minus 2. But what we have to remember is the 5 here. Because we took a factor of 5 out, we have to make sure we put it into the final answer. So we have to put 5 here. And that is our final answer. And now moving on to question number 5. This question also looks really difficult, but we just want to break it down into smaller pieces. So let's first look at the 4. 4 we can get by doing 2 times 2. And a to the power of 4 we can get by doing a squared times a squared. Perfect. And then we've got 25 here, which you can get by 5 times 5. And y squared here you can get by y times y. So if we ignore the duplicates and just write each singular number, we'll get here 2a squared, and here we'll get 5y. Perfect. And now we can just write the double brackets out again. And that will get us 2a squared plus y, 2a squared minus y. And that is our final answer. And now the final question. So you've got 25 squared minus 20 squared. So how can we write this as a double bracket? So first we have to realize these are both squared numbers because they have a 2 here, which means they're squared. And then you got the subtraction sign in the middle. So we know we can do difference of two squares. So well, what we want to write is, we want to write 25 minus 20, sorry, plus 20. And then on the other side, write 25 minus 20. It doesn't matter which order you write it in, it's exactly the same thing. So even if you write it as 25 minus 20, and then in the other bracket, write 25 plus 20, it doesn't matter. The final answer will still be the same. So I'm just going to rub out the other one and carry on with the original method. And then you keep on going. So you do 25 plus 20, that gets you 45. And the other bracket, you do 25 minus 20 gets you 5. And that'll get you the final answer as 225 when you do 45 times 5.